if they ever come up against one of these. And I suffered personal attacks. It went after my friends. It did a lot of things. It's still around. It pops in once or twice a year. Lets me know it's here. I'm not afraid of it anymore. You know, and and I think everything I did before that was leading me up to that moment. And I think I was supposed to run into that demon because I think I was supposed to learn what I could about that so I could help more people. I think that's what I was meant to do.
I agree with that.
Yeah, the calling for me, it's not about paranormal investigation. The calling for me is about helping people, and it doesn't matter whether those people are living or transitioned. I'm there to help them both, and that's really what my calling is about. I just want to say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm kind of more my team teases me, they call me the ghost rescuer.
Yeah, there we go. That's me too.
Because I more take the side of the dead than the living.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm there to help the living, don't get me wrong, but I'm mostly there to help that spirit.
I just want to say before we continue that the beautiful Chrissy is with Chris tonight, and I have a glass and a spoon.
Hi, Chrissy.
Kiss. Come on, like at a wedding. Come on, kiss. Yay! We got a kiss. Thank you, everybody.
I'll never turn one of those down.
There you go.
Ruby, you had a follow-up?
I do. I want to know, is there a way that, being that you've worked with demons, you've all three now seen one, right, in your time, is there a way to protect your home so that they cannot enter? Can you stop them from...
I'm sorry, Ruby, you're breaking out.
Is there a way that you can protect your home?
I do protect my home now. It's a very bizarre way, and if I explained it to you...
Try me.
Okay. I have a friend whose unity animal is a dragon. And I'll explain unity animals if you need me to. But it's a dragon.
Please do for our listeners. Go ahead.
Okay. A unity animal is believed in some cultures, mostly Celtic, that when everyone's born, they're assigned a unity animal. And in times of fight or flight, you take on certain attributes of that animal. Like mine is a panther. And in times of fight or flight, you almost literally feel like a cat. You move like a cat. I can't explain it. It just takes you over. It's almost like you blend with another creature. But you still have all your faculties. You're still thinking like you think. But and I totally lost my train of thought. You take on the faculties, but you also have the attributes of this animal. They call it a unity animal. It's different than an animal totem, which is like a spirit guide. So anyway, a friend of mine has a dragon unity animal, and he uses energy, and he weaves like a spider web. And he's taught me how to do it a little bit. I'm still not really good at it. But he weaves this energy, and once he weaves it, he puts it around your house or a person, and it protects you.
Yeah, River, there are different things you can do. I like to do major space clearing. I believe in space clearing so much that I've done it for so many people now. It's a great way to protect yourself, your family, and your home. Another thing I do is I project what I call the guardians of the gate, which are my spirit guides. And I ask them to stay outside my home and protect my home. And
I almost feel like a bubble of white light.
Yeah, well, what I do is I call on, and I spoke about this before on the shows, the carry-on angels. The carry-on angels, for those of you who don't know, are kind of like Archangel Michael's band of his army. And they're here to take away the negative energies, the negative spirits, demons, and to protect. So I always call on, like in front of my home now, I have what I call the guardians of the gate, and they are my spirit guides and the carry-on angels that protect my home. Okay? And I do that, I would say, every 2 weeks or so just to reinforce it. I put my intent out there.
It's funny you say guardian of the gate. I was
Right.
there's a cemetery down the street from where this house was, and every time we take a picture at the gates, a spirit would show up and he'd pose, and we'd go, okay, smile for the camera, and I have marvelous pictures of him in different. We called him the guardian of the gate of the cemetery, and it was like he protected.
Debbie, I would love to see those pictures if you don't mind.
Yeah. Mhm.
At some point, if you could send them to me, if you feel like it, I would love to see them.
Yeah, I see. Let me check. We'll keep talking. Let me check.
You know, and my home is also protected. In front of my home is the Sloman Shield, and we've never had a demon come in. And on that note, I just want to say you're listening to the Paranormal Lounge on the D.T.M. Wicked Radio Network.
So you know, I see that Chuck Banks is in the chat room tonight. I don't mean to interrupt the interview, but he's actually going to be on the show in 2 weeks, and he's a really cool guy. And his book should be out by the time the show airs, and I'm looking really forward to talking to this guy. Just want to throw it out there. So go ahead, Irvin. Why don't you go with it?
Let's see. Debbie, as a paranormal investigator for nearly 20 years now, you must have been on one of the maybe original or founding paranormal teams, maybe not, pioneering team. How did you get started?
I actually got started in college. One of my psychology professors was a parapsychologist. And he would come in on Mondays and he would tell us about all his investigations. And one Monday he came in, it's like, I don't know, 8 o'clock. I am grossly hungover. And he starts talking about this house, and he holds up a picture of this house. And I don't know what happened, but I got up and I took the picture and I held it and I told him everything there was to know about that house. I told him about the murders. I told him about the suicides. I told him what spirits were there. I told him what the house looked like in 3 different eras. And I cleared the classroom. Everyone freaked out. I cleared the classroom. And then he stopped. I stopped, and he goes, oh, you and I are so going to talk. And then he started taking me on the investigations. And that's how I got started. And it was back when we were doing, you do it old school. You have you have a tape recorder, you have a Polaroid camera, or you have a camera with film or a disposable camera. That's about it. Flashlight. You do it old school. I still like to hunt old school. What else do you need?
I agree with you. I like old school better than anything. Although I do enjoy the ghost box. I think it's fun.
I like the ghost box. I think it's fun, but hey, give me a regular digital tape recorder with the old tapes in it, because it has better white noise than the digital recorders. And I will admit I've upgraded to a digital camera and a UV flashlight, only because scientific studies have shown that if you use the UV flashlight, it does increase paranormal activity, and we've tested it. We find that, yeah, okay, it does. And
Debbie, I got
Chris through Skype.
Yeah, we see that, and I want to take a look at that here. Debbie, you mentioned your college professor, the parapsychologist, the teacher, and he handed you the photo, or you grabbed the photo and you said...
I grabbed the photo.
Yeah, you grabbed it and you said, I don't know how I did it. Is that the first time you realized you had psychometry, you could grab an object and know?
Yeah.
Was that the first experience in college?
That's the first time I actually knew what it was. Like, I always did it, but I thought, okay, it's just energy. It's how I interpret energy. But then when I realized if I touch something like that I see everything, it looks like a motion picture. And sometimes you have to get it to slow down, because you can't focus on any one thing because it's going too fast. So you have to say, slow it down, and you have to make it slow down so you can go frame by frame by frame. Because sometimes stuff comes in so fast, you can't tell what's really going on. So I have to either replay it, or I have to make it slow down, to tell it to slow down. And one of the weirdest, I don't know whether you guys have ever had this happen, one of the weirdest things I ever had happen in this house where this demon was, there was a spirit named James. And he died in 1887. He was this crotchety old man. And we became really good friends. I'd go over, there's no heat in this house, there's barely any windows, there's no electricity, and I'm over there with a thermos of coffee and a blanket sitting on the third floor of this house talking to this ghost. And we became really good friends. And one night we went out, I'd been over at the house, I went home, we went out to dinner with friends, and I'm sitting in the restaurant, and I'm talking with my friends. All of a sudden, I left. And I saw myself landing on the third floor of this house. And at first, I'm going, how the hell did I get here, and how the hell do I get back? And I see James. I'm like, James, this is not a good time. And he's like, sorry. So I made my way back. I just followed the energy back. And my friends are going, Debbie. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what happened? I'm sorry. I just was thinking about something. I'm sorry. Because how do you tell your friends that you were transported to the third floor of a haunted house?
Yeah, that's odd. That's awesome. Awesome story. You know, I'd like to just take it back a little bit with the exorcism. In your research, or even before your research, have you ever participated in an exorcism? And if so, what was it like for you?
I've done 2 of them.
And did you do it like the traditional way with the rites of exorcism, or was it done differently?
It was done differently.
First,
when I did the rites of exorcism, I had a real problem with some of it. And then I found this team in Texas who uses a ritual that is a mixture of like Archangel Michael, certain prayer. It's like you're doing a binding, a cleansing, and an exorcism.
And is it all through like prayer?
It's not. You're doing like, you have candles, and then you have like a smudge stick, and you have like this piece of paper that has the exorcism written on it, what's part of it, and you put the sage stick on there, and then you have 3 pieces of yarn. I use white, and as you say something each time as you tie one of these 3 strings, and it's.
So you're doing a binding, basically.
I'm doing a binding.
Right.
And
do you do 9 knots?
No, you just tie it. So I bind it, and then you burn it, like it's just incinerate it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's almost like a banishment.
That's exactly what it is. It's a banishment. But
right.
You know, I got to say, you know, Debbie, I've been part of banishments before, and I find that they don't ever work completely. And I always find that you have to go back and do something more.
I've used this a couple times, and sometimes it's like using a sledgehammer to kill a cockroach.
Mm-hmm.
But if you run up against one of the big guys, it works.
Really?
It really, really works. I mean, you're using Archangel Michael, you're using angels, it's like a combination of Wicca and Christianity. And I've had it work, you know, a couple times. The couple times that I've used it, I'm very comfortable with it. It takes about 45 minutes. I'm real comfortable with it. I feel like it's what I'm supposed to use. And I'm grateful to James for sending it to me, because it's really helped.
Debbie, I just got to ask you, since you brought it up, the Wiccan and your experience with it, what are your spiritual beliefs?
I kind of describe myself as a Christian pagan.
Is it such a thing?
Yeah, Christian pagan. I draw from a lot of religions. I studied a lot of religions. I take what works for me and I discard the rest. and then I mashed it all together to make it work for me.